So I'm just giving you a little flyover of the South Island onto the lower part of the North Island and then further north, just to put into context where we are at the moment. So the blue spot is where we are, north of Auckland. We've got about a week before the next house sit, so we drove in the van north of Auckland yesterday through Whangarei and to Kerikeri. You can see it takes 3.5 to 4 hours to get up here, and we're staying at a place for the first 4 days called Aroha Island. It's in the Bay of Islands. That's what you're looking at now. The northern part of the bay into an inlet, the Kerikeri Inlet, and it's a little promontory. It's very small. It's only about 400 or 500 meters long, this promontory, but it's an eco centre. And we've parked the van up here and we'll be going out for a walk shortly. So we're off for our walk, and yep, closing up. There we go. And I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the sort of information centre at the reception and find out a little bit more about the area we're in, and then we can go for the walk.
What's around? Oh, wonderful. Before we head off to explore? Cool, okay. You're doing a video?
I am.
Hello!
You're a video star. So, tell us a bit about this place. So is it privately owned? Is there a trust, or?
So this is it's Kiwi land,
yeah.
And it's operated by a trust of local volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
unique in terms of Kiwi sites, and that we're the only Kiwi trust that has buildings on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at the campsite, and the cottages operate to sustain the trust.
And how long's it been going?
It's been going, I think, officially since 1984, when the trust took it over. It was locally owned, and then got sold by the owner to Kiwi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Kiwis didn't keep us awake last night, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try and visit.
Oh, here we go. Kiwi Sightings.
Thank you.
So what sort of time you have to go when it's dark, dear, to see them? Really?
What's the best time?
Yeah, lots of this is a great little resource because it just says
Okay,
what
notes
time
that people have left.
people have seen them. So yeah, set off at 9 p.m. The time we've seen them, it's been 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah, 9:30, 9:30.
Okay, 9:30.
Yeah, it seems to be that's when they're like really coming out of their burrows. Yeah, and as you can see, lots of the sightings are over here around that time.
Yeah.
So my feeling is that their burrows are around here. They come out,
And they start.
and then they start wandering.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we go there about 9:30, 9:15 or something.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then
We'll
just
try.
definitely have to have patience, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So
Although sometimes you might see one in 5 minutes, and then you could be sitting there for an hour as well.
the idea is you get there and then settle down
You have to
and just wait.
not move.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like a meditation. You're just sitting
Okay.
there, listening to the forest, listening to the mangroves.
That's nice. But
Yeah.
can you have your light on?
I think once you get your spot,
Yeah.
turn your light off and just listen. They're so noisy, you'll hear them.
Do that.
Do you
Yeah.
have torches?
We do
Yeah.
with red light,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're saying when we get there, turn it off.
Yeah, but then you'll hear them, and then
Right.
you just put your torch on when you hear one is next to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Would they
Okay.
run away? Would they get scared of the light?
No, they don't mind the red light.
Oh,
Hence
okay,
why
okay. So we can do
suggest
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Great.
We'll try.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks
Good
for
luck.
that.
I hope you see some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll have a few nights to try.
Awesome. Yeah, lovely.
thanks. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
So that was interesting to find out a bit about the place we're staying. So they've got this very small campsite, but it's really pretty. Toilet blocks, showers. Just down here we've got a kitchen. And then down here we've got another part to the campground, the lower campground, as you can see. Not sure just how many people are down here. It's a beautiful weekend, just coming towards the end of spring, middle of November, but it's just not busy at all. Everybody busy going shopping, I think, and doing other things. Oh, there's quite a few people here. A little smattering of people making the most of being right down by the water or the mud. So we're by a little inlet, so when the tide's out it's pretty muddy. I think the tide's probably back in about 5-6 o'clock this evening, and we're going to head off round the walkway going clockwise, I think. So we're going to head off down this track here, see if we can find out where all these Kiwi sightings have been, so when we come back tonight in the dark we've got some idea of where we're heading. I'm just looking now at a kawa tree, and apparently if it's healthy the leaves generally get eaten by these little caterpillars. So even though it looks pretty dog-eared, I mean, look at this one here, there's more holes than leaf. So even though it looks pretty awful, that's a good sign. This is a really healthy plant in a unpolluted area. So the caterpillars are tucking in. Not sure if I can spot any. Ah, there's one here. Just wonder if I can pick it up on the camera. It's just on the end of its thread. Maybe it's doing its morning exercises, climbing back up. So yeah, we'll pick some of these leaves and make some tea. This fern caught in the sun is just beautiful. Not a silver fern, but beautiful. Well, after just saying it's not a silver fern, this information board is telling me it is, but it must be a juvenile one, so I didn't know that actually, so I've learnt something today. You only get the silver on the underside when they're mature, which this one definitely is not, even though it's pretty big. Okay, maybe we've spotted another one.
No, neither is this one. It's still brown.
Uh-huh.
And silver. So.
The video that we took at Hahe, they definitely were silver on the underside. These ones, yeah, I think they're a bit too young.
Can't really see where it tells us where we are. It doesn't, but it does look, this is this little loop here.
Okay,
So
let's go looping.
so this is where supposedly it is.
Okay. Whether we'll see anything on the camera when we come back tonight to try and spot these kiwis, we're not sure, so make the most of it while you can in daylight.
Wetter house.
Okay, wetters
Huge.
are, as you can see, are a bit prehistoric. Okay, after a few false starts, now we think we're in the area where the kiwi are. We're on a little loop and dropping down,
Yeah, so these look,
burrow spotting.
so this looks like one. I don't know, because it's going to be a bit of a hole under the root. And there's still one over here.
Detective Vassie has decided that this is definitely the area, And there's a bench actually that we're going to come across. We saw through the trees. So maybe that's the place to
There was one deer, there was one deer, there was one here.
stay and meditate while we wait for them to come out tonight. Oh, what's this in here? So here's a possible meditation spot for this evening. More healthy kawakawa. And then another little area to sit at. Kanuka, tea tree, very similar to Manuka. Kanuka's a bit bigger, and I think the way to differentiate is when you feel the leaves on a Kanuka are sort of a lot rougher than the little leaves on a Manuka. This probably explains why there's so many oyster shells on those rocks. They've probably escaped from this oyster farm. So we've very quickly now got round to the other side of the promontory, and we're heading back down towards the campsite. So it really is a tiny place. They said 20 minutes to walk around. I think if you just walked without stopping, it'd probably be nearer 10 minutes. Yet more kawakawa. There's actually more holes than leaf on these ones. Just getting to the end of the walk. I think we're almost back at the campsite now. So that oyster farm is actually quite big. Part of it's obviously in that mudflats area that dries out when the tide's out, but it goes out quite a way into this bay. And basically, if you head off in that direction that we're looking now, it opens out into the Bay of Islands. Here we go, emerging back onto our current home base. We were last in Kerikeri 9 or 10 months ago, towards the end of the summer, and now, having been through autumn, winter and most of spring, we're back here again. We're at Aroha Island, an eco centre, and hopefully this evening we're going to do something which is quite difficult to do now in New Zealand, which is see some kiwi in the wild. For those of you that don't know, kiwi's the main official, I guess, symbol for New Zealand, and it's a quite large, very strange shaped bird with a long beak. It's called a bird, but it doesn't do what most birds do, which is fly. It can't fly. So it was perfectly suited to New Zealand before humans arrived. Once humans arrived, they were in trouble, particularly once humans brought cats and dogs and other sorts of animals with them, and basically the kiwi just were completely unable to protect themselves, and they've been decimated. So they're actually only in a few parts of the country now. Areas that have been particularly sort of sectioned off are slightly isolated, and the birds can be protected. And they're nocturnal, they only come out at night, so with a bit of luck we'll see some tonight. With even more luck, we might actually get to record some for you to see. If we do get it going, I'm not going to talk. I don't want to put them off, scare them at all, so we'll just get some footage going if I can get the night vision working on the camera. So yeah, we're here for 3 or 4 days, and then we're off to basically the place we stayed last time we were in Kerikeri, which is the motorhome parking area by Rainbow Falls. We had some video of the falls last time, so this time we're hoping we can walk down to the stone store and just take some more video footage from down there. So let's just see how we get on in this second visit to Kerikeri. Welcome to another beautiful late spring day in Kerikeri, Northland. So this is the night, or rather, sorry, the day after the much anticipated nighttime viewing of the Kiwi, which turned out to be a waste of time. So there were so many people in that little area of the forest bush where the Kiwi was supposed to be sighted that it was busier than, I don't know, Queen Street, the main street going through the centre of Auckland. It was so busy, and heaps of people had got really bright white torchlights, which you're not supposed to use apparently, but I guess most people ignored that, wandering around trying to find these Kiwis who were obviously in their burrows thinking, crikey, what's going on here? I'm not coming out. So we sat there for quite a while, and you'd get about 10 minutes of peace and quiet, and you start to think maybe they're going to come out, but no. Then somebody had come wandering by with a torchlight. So hopefully, if we go tonight, might be a bit quieter, and maybe we might see some. So I thought what I'd do is show you one of the most obvious impacts of the borders being closed because of the COVID-19 restrictions. So really, for all intents and purposes, New Zealand, unlike most other countries in the world, is back to normal. Everything's operating really as normal. You never see people in masks. People ignore the COVID QR code sign-ins. There's no social distancing. The only impact is the borders are still closed, so only New Zealanders can come back, and even their numbers are restricted by how many can go into the 14-day isolation. So again, most of the time you don't really notice this, but you come to a place like this and it's really obvious, because if you remember when I took some videos yesterday and wandered around the campsite, there was a smattering of people around. Well, here we are. We're now Sunday, and of course all the locals go to work on Monday, so they've all packed up and gone. So the van that was next to us is gone. We're in splendid isolation, and if I come down here to the lower campground, I'm not quite sure how many are going to be left, but I suspect quite a few of the people that were down here yesterday are going to have packed up and gone. We shall see. I have to change the narrative on this video soon if I come around the corner and find everybody's still here. Okay, so there's some people here, but you can see probably half the people have gone. So the tide's in now. Looks much more attractive, doesn't it? So pretty hard for people that run facilities like this to make money now. So what's happening is places get reasonably busy at the weekend, 2 maybe 3 nights, and then it just goes really quiet during the week because there's no international tourists. So, you know, ordinarily there would be a smattering of overseas people staying here during the week, but it's just not happening at the moment. And everybody will go wild over 5 or 6 weeks around Christmas and New Year, and then it'll get quiet again. So yeah, pretty hard for those tourist operators at the moment. We don't have a good hit rate actually in terms of places we go to. I'd say most places we go to, we go, it was okay, but I wouldn't bother coming back. But no, this is a nice little campsite. It's great that it's sort of got this eco theme to it. There's lots of birds. We're yet to see the kiwis yet, but live in hope. I'm going to try again tonight. So this is the barbecue area. So this is a real great covered area if there's a group of you to come into and have your evening meal. And we'll just have a closer look at the other facilities they've got, just to give you some idea of what there is. So there's a kitchen. We've only used that really for the washing up, because one drawback to this place, they collect all their water from the roofs and store them in these big water tanks, but obviously they've got to be careful about how the water's used. So you can't fill up your camper van, motorhome, caravan tanks here. You've got to bring water in with you. So we're staying 4 days. We haven't got enough tank capacity if we go and wash dishes and whatever. So we've been cooking around and in the van, but we've been coming in here to do the washing. But if you're in a tent or you want bigger space for cooking, this is fine. I mean, it's got, as you can see, burners, gas burners, microwave, fridges if you want to keep your stuff. So a lot of campers do put their frozen and stuff. As you can see, there's not many people here at the moment, and washing up. And what's good is they've got Eco Store dish liquid, which is neat, sort of stuff we use, so that's good. And then down here, shower. I think it's $1 for the shower, which is really cheap, but of course slight inconveniences. You've got to make sure you've got $1, and if you're like us, you don't actually carry cash around with you, but you get 5 minutes, and there's 2 showers, and they're fine. And plenty of toilets. If you don't like to look at yourself, you go in one of these. If you're okay to look at yourself, you go in a slightly bigger one that's got a mirror. But you know, they're modern, nice and clean, and as you'd expect from an eco place, lots of different ways to recycle. So if we got a kayak, this would be a really great place to come to, because it's a sheltered inlet. But we haven't got a kayak, so maybe next time. Oh, look at this. Who's this? Heading for the toilet facilities, methinks.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Definitely be coming back, I hope.